One of the topics that you've caught on to by now that make me so incensed is when they gaslight us. I just find it to be probably of all of the behavior that they do, the most insidious. It is just somebody, the lowest of the low, would gaslight somebody. And let me define it for those of you that maybe are just tuning in. It's the most despicable way that they can devalue you, in my opinion. So you know something's going on because maybe they first triangulate you and tell you, I'm seeing, that you catch a picture on his phone, you catch a text on his phone. Mine used to do it on purpose and make me see it to see how I would react, and then judge how much he could torture me, and then judge how much I would put up with, and judge how I would handle it, and how far he could go the next time, see if I would get jealous. It was a whole thing he did. And yours might be doing the same thing. So that's the triangulation, right? So now you know, and the gaslighting happens where, or maybe he didn't even triangulate you, okay? So maybe you just know. You found something, saw something, smelled something. You just know. And you approach. And you say something. The cycle that could ensue and then go on for 3 hours is nothing but insanity. Okay? So if I'd have known, I would have handled it differently. But the cycle that ensues is because, okay, back to defining it. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. So you know what happened. You approach him. He lies. Right there is where it starts. But this lie is not even what gets me the angriest. You approached him. That gets me angry. He did something bad. He's lying to you. And then you say, I know it's true. I'm seeing it. The gaslighting is the next step. When he starts calling you crazy, you're psychotic, you don't trust me, you're out of your mind, I can't believe you would say that, what are you, insane? There's no way on earth, don't you know? And it will go on. Like I said, the cycle can go on for 3 hours, 8 hours, 2 days, 5 years, and they will gaslight you. It's called gaslighting, and the term comes from a movie in the 40s. Again, for those of you that maybe just are tuning in and don't know this, with Ingrid Bergman, where he makes her think she's going nuts. That's where the movie the term comes from. So not only is he lying to you, every word dripping with a lie, but he's making you think you're insane. That's why I think it's the meanest thing that can be done. How dare somebody play with somebody else's mental state? And some people do start to question their sanity. Am I going nuts? Am I crazy? I mean, I'm seeing it. This is right. Am I losing my mind? Okay. So I made myself insane and allowed myself to go down that rabbit hole while he told me I was insane. And thereby I started to behave insane and looking the part of what he's telling me that I was. Because I was going, oh my God, how could you tell me I'm insane? Look at this. Well, by then, I'm acting insane. They make you be insane. And then they say, the greatest kicker of all with gaslighting is then they say, see, look at you. I know. It's the most deplorable behavior I think that can happen. And how do you handle it? Okay, well, to tell me I'm insane and thereby looking the part of insane, even though I was right the whole time about every single thing, is aggravating. But the most aggravating part to me is that I allowed myself to get there. I would handle things completely differently. I think there's got to be a way, with knowledge that now that we have about this disorder, that to stand tall in our truth and not let it get twisted up. Meaning, so I'm hoping I would handle it differently. I'm picturing now that maybe I would do a very short snippet of an expository chat wherein you inform the narcissist, tell them what you're going to do, and then the chat's over. Meaning, there's no listening to him spin a web of lies. There's no telling a tale, tell you you're nuts, blame you, call you insane, psychotic, crazy. No. Because then that allows for the trying to come back with statements on your part to expect him to grasp, and suddenly he's going to care or understand or care. No! None of that is how it's going to play out. Ever. And I engaged 48,000 times in the same exact manner, which ironically is the definition of insanity. Is it not? You do the same thing over and over again expecting a different result. So I engaged every single darn time. Every single time I allowed the same thing to happen. Big dramatic, hours and hours of crying and screaming and fighting and acting insane. Acting insane. So I fed right into it. So the way now, I don't think that I would be crying and screaming and begging and pleading. I think I would just maybe talk and walk. I think that's how I'd handle it now. And I advise you to do the same. And look, it's not easy. And I say that's how I'd handle it now, but when you're in it and your heart broke in half by finding what you found, and you're shocked and you have to make him say something that will help you, you will stand there and argue for 5 hours waiting for it. Guess what? I can save you the time. It never comes. What comes out of their mouth is more lying, more tale telling, more web spinning. Meanwhile, you're getting worked up because he's not fessing up, admitting it, and acknowledging what you found. You're crazy. I think I would like for all of us maybe to one day get to the point that we were like, look, this is the truth I see. I'm not blind. Chat over. Decision-making time for us. That would be lovely. If that were to happen, it's that big of a deal. If I had finalized my breakup after the very first gaslighting, I would have saved myself months and months and months of more gaslighting. Do you know what I'm saying? I think of that all the time. Since for me, that's the most treacherous part of the whole narcissist process. I think of how many bad memories in my head I could have not even had there had I stuck with it the first time. The cruelty level of gaslighting somebody and telling somebody that they're insane when they are exposing a truth that you did, that is to me beyond anything you could ever do. That is just, not only did you do the act, that's bad enough, but now the person finds it, they approach you. There's healthy ways that healthy people probably handle that. I'm not saying healthy people don't cheat on each other that aren't narcissists and somebody finds it, but then maybe the healthy response would be like, you got me, I'm sorry, we were having a bad month, and blah, blah, let's go to therapy, I love you. Not, oh my God, you're insane. That's what you say to me? Ugh, blah, blah, blah. She was just a friend. They'll tell you anything and swear on it. And they'll swear on anything, and I've told you that before, to make you believe them. And you start questioning yourself. I want the next time that anybody is in that situation to look at the facts of black and white that are in front of you and let them speak to you. And do not engage for 3 hours with somebody who is probably under the influence of something. Mine was normally. So you can't argue with drunk. You can't argue with a gaslighter. You're never going to make them admit anything. Oh my God, never. They're not going to say, you're right. I mean, right? They're not ever, the narcissist is never going to say that. I tortured mine with questions to the point that after that, finally he'd say, oh my God, yep. But it took, why? Why would I do that to myself again? Hours and hours and weeks and days of a dog with a bone. Well, days comes before weeks, but you get my point. And doing that just to get at the truth. I don't even want that truth. I don't want his ugly truth in my life. And had I let it go after the first gaslighting and said, look, this is what I found. This is unacceptable to me. I'm going this direction. You go yours. Have a nice life. And I walked away. I wouldn't have been gaslighted the 8 billion more times. So just give thought to how you handle that gaslighting. And don't let them infiltrate your mind and make you think that you're nuts. Do not let that happen to you, please. Hold your ground. Hold your ground and make a decision for yourself. And look at it and say, you might be shocked. It's such a shock that you're like, wait, I wasn't ready to let the person go. I wasn't ready to let the person go. We have to be able to work through this. It could be a sign of what's to come again and again and again and again. And if you did let them go on the first time, with such a cruel act like that, that is, you're dealing with some kind of monster. How do you do that to somebody? Give it some thought. And hold yourself high in your truth and stand by your ground. That's what I would do. And I would keep the conversation short. I wouldn't engage anymore for hours and hours and hours. Or at least I hope I wouldn't. That's my hope. Chin up.